This is part B of clip number 5. If you haven't watched the part A, please go and watch it. Otherwise, this will be in the middle. You won't realize what's going on. In part A, I mentioned the fact that it is important that when we look at something that's happening in the Bible is to see it from the perspective of the people who said certain things. In the situation that I mentioned when Jesus was asking the disciples and they gave an answer, it's not just the words that they said, but what do those words mean in the context of who the disciples themselves were, or who those people were, and what was it they believed even before Jesus appeared on the scene. The question that was dealt with is Jesus was asking them, who do people say that I am? And then he went further and said, what do you believe that I am? Now what's obvious is people saw Jesus as, okay, he's a man, flesh and blood, and he is teaching, a teacher, a rabbi, and so forth. But they're trying to figure out what are all those miracles that are happening, what's the impact of that, what does this mean? For example, we see in the book of John chapter 3, one who is a scholar and somebody who had some rank or whatever in the religious world at that time, Nicodemus, comes to Jesus and he said, we know that you are a teacher from God, because nobody can do the miracles that you do except that God be with him. So obviously somebody like Nicodemus and the people around him who were thinking and trying to figure out, who is this Jesus? And other people have thought about the same thing, and Jesus brought it to the front. Didn't just let it happen, but even now the closest people, or the people that were with him all the time, the disciples, and he asked them, what others say that I am, and what do you say that I am? And we got into the Peter answered, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. So the first thing we need to realize what that means is, first of all, in the context of somebody who believes that there's only one God and there's no Savior beside him. Now in this clip here, I'm going to try to give like a quick overview, and then in additional clips I will add later on, I will go and be a little bit more specific. So obviously it's not just the question they were asked, okay, me as flesh and blood, but what is beyond that? What is it that you see? In a similar situation in the book of John also, actually the next chapter after Nicodemus, we find Jesus meeting with a woman from a village in Samaria, and later on she will say, okay, I realize you are a prophet, or if you are a prophet, okay, I'm going to give you some religious question. After a little bit of talk, she says, hold on here, I realize that you are something beyond that. You are the Messiah. Now, what those words mean in the context of what those people believed. I went a little bit in details of that in the first clip A, to mention what was it that those people believed, and I kind of this is a theme throughout the whole Bible, and something emphasized that this God, you cannot have do any image of him and so forth. And comes to my mind right now, Moses, who was the one that was used to give the law, he wanted to see God, and God told him, no one can see me and live. And going back to the what Jesus said to the woman in Samaria, God is a spirit. So people in the Old Testament, or the time of Jesus, they believed, okay, He's the one who did everything. He's all power. Everything comes from Him. He's the Father of all creation, and He's a spirit. And no wonder that when people see somebody who saying anything about divinity or saying something that indicates that he's more than just a human and flesh and blood, that they want to stone him. Part of that was what uh, they were supposed to teach, and they were day and night they were going by this. As I said, like I'm just going for a quick overview in here. Going to an answer here very quickly. And maybe similar to Moses. At the time of just after the Last Supper, in that setting where Jesus was with the disciples, somebody asked Jesus, and it was Philip. He says, you're talking about the Father. Show us the Father, and that will be, that will be sufficient for us. Jesus said, have I not been with you for a long time, and you don't know me yet? You who have seen me have seen the Father also. Now there was a similar situation like that, and Jesus said, I and my Father are one, and they wanted to stone him at that time, not the disciples, but the religious people. Now it's a similar thing that Jesus is going back again and saying. It's not just somebody said that Jesus said it, that it is written. He said that. But he didn't stop there. He went on and said, the Father, he said, you have seen me, have seen the Father, for the Father dwells in me, and He does the works. So, he's obviously talking about the Spirit of God, and he's saying, God, who is the Father of all things, that you cannot see, that's His Spirit is what's inside of me, and He's doing the work. So, in the context, going back to what was mentioned, clip 1, what does this Son of God mean? Obviously, people were saying His human flesh and blood. Just for the sake of the time for the clip here, I'm going to have to be quick. We are dealing with two things happening. Is God in human flesh. In one part in the Bible was saying, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifested in the flesh. God who is a spirit. God who is the one God. The one who is, there's no Savior beside me, he said. God who is the Father of all things. Not a second God, that one God is manifested in the flesh. And Jesus himself said it. The Father dwells in me, and He does the work. So what does this Son mean? Is it the same as us? We are thinking, I am the Son of my Father, and He's my Father, I am His Son. Obviously not, because once you get into that area, you're dealing with two. And no matter which way you do it, at the end, you're going to realize that you're dealing with two, and then you try to make them one and all that. The Bible makes it clear. Jesus said, yes, He's human flesh and blood, but what's inside of Him was the Spirit of the Father. Again, time is running very quickly here, so before this clip will get rejected because of time, I'll stop here and then I'll go in details for part C.